All right, so this is the first part of 6.6. We're going to solve some radical equations. First one, square root of 5x minus 9 equals 11. In order to get rid of that square root, we are going to square both sides. Okay, square both sides of the equation. What that does is that takes the square root and the squared and cancels those out, so we end up with 5x minus 9 equals 121. Now we're going to add 9 to both sides. So we end up with 5x equals 130. Now to get x by itself, all we have to do is divide by 5. So x ends up being 26. Now notice it does say to check for extraneous solutions. So if I were to put this back in here, 5 times 26 is 130. 130 minus 9 is 121. And then if I take the square root of 121, I will get 11. Always check for extraneous. This one checks out, so we know that that's a good answer. We're going to square both sides. Again, we've got a square root all by itself on the left side, which means that I need to take both sides of this equation and square it. So that leaves me with x minus 6 on the left, because that gets rid of the square root when we square both sides. Now this next part you need to be careful. Remember, x minus 8 squared really means x minus 8 times x minus 8. So when I FOIL that out, I'm going to end up with x squared. Inside and outside give me minus 16x. And then negative 8 times negative 8 is plus 64. Now I'm going to bring everything to the right side. Since we have an x squared, we need to bring everything together. So then I end up with 0 on the left side equals x squared minus 17x, and that's going to be plus 70. Okay? Now let's see if we can factor this. If I try to double bubble, if I go x and x, since this is a 1 in front of the x squared, I can do what factors of 70 give me 17? I know that's going to be 7 and 10. They're both going to have to be negatives so that I add up to negative 17, and then two negatives when I multiply end up to be positive 70. So now when I solve this, remember you think opposite sign, so x would be positive 7 or positive 10. Now let's go back and plug those in. 7 minus 6 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. But then on the right side I'd have 7 minus 8. That's negative 1. So 7 actually is an extraneous solution. We got that solution at the end, but it doesn't work back in the problem. Let's try 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 10 minus 8 is also 2. 10 does work. So we do have one solution. 7 ended up being extraneous. This next one, I actually want to get this x minus 4 to the 2/3 by itself. So my first step is to add 9 to both sides. So I end up with x minus 4 to the 2/3, those cancel out, equals 25. Now in order to get rid of this to the 2/3, I am going to take this to the reciprocal. So I'm going to take this to the 3/2. But then I also need to do that to the other side of the equation. The cool thing about when I do that, 2/3 times 3/2 is 1, so that leaves me with x minus 4 to the 1, or just x minus 4. Now I'm going to have to do a little thinking. Remember, this number in the bottom of the fraction is your index, so this means square root of 25 to the 3rd. So I really have x minus 4 equals the square root of 25 is 5. 5 to the 3rd is 125. Now to get x by itself, I just add 4 to both sides. So x ends up being 129. Let's do a quick check. 129 minus 4 is 125. cubed root of 125 is 5. 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 9 is 16. So 129 does work. That is not extraneous. Next one, again, we want to get x to the 3/5 by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 7 first, which leaves me with x to the 3/5 equals 8. Okay, and again, I'm going to take both sides to the reciprocal exponent. So both sides are going to be to the 5/3. That ends up basically canceling those out. That's going to be 1 x to the first, so it would be x equals, and then remember this number here means the root, so it's going to be the cubed root of 8, which is 2. 2 to the 5th is 32. Now let's plug in and check. We've got the 5th root. 5th root of 32 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. And then you take the 8 times the 7, you get 56. 32 works. It is a good solution. This time we have cubed root. In order to get rid of cubed root, I'm going to cube both sides, since that cubed root is by itself over here already. Now what happens is the cubed root and the cubed cancel each other out, which leaves me with x minus 16, and that's going to equal 8. Add 16 to both sides. We're going to get x equals 24. Quick check. 24 minus 16 is 8. Cubed root of 8 is 2. Good answer. We have no extraneous solutions for that problem. Again, get the cubed root by itself. So I'm going to start by adding 7. So I have 3 cubed root 16x, these are gone, equals 24. Now we still need to divide both sides by 3. Okay, so those factor out. I have the cubed root of 16x equals 8. In order to get rid of the cubed root, we cube both sides. So I end up with 16x equals 512. Now we divide both sides by 16, and we're going to get x equals 32. Quick check. 16 times 32 is 512. Cubed root of 512 is 8. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 7 is 17. 32 is a great answer. We have no extraneous solutions again. And that concludes section 6.6 part 1. And the assignment is on this screen. And by the way, those cars are radical. Literally.